I want to, first off, I'm going to address this because people are going to think I'm crazy. I have a blanket over the door because it is 92 degrees outside, and with real feel, it's like turning the outside into almost 100 degrees. And my AC unit is actually really, really old, and so it's struggling to keep my house cool. So I've literally got every fan in my house on, and I've got blankets over all my curtains, and I've, it's actually funny. You can see I got like the light blocking, heat resistant, cooler, like it keeps everything out curtains, and it's not enough. Between my AC being old, and I also have a kind of complex problem. So our neighborhood was built up 23 years ago. So none of the trees provide any shade. So I've got one tree my mother-in-law planted when she moved, not long after she moved in, and that one is a white birch, and it's a three, like there's three prongs coming up out of the ground. So I guess it's called a clutch, and I don't remember, something like that. So that's in my front yard, but that is literally only like 3 feet taller than I am, so it's not giving any shade into my house. And then I planted two Idaho blue spruces right by my front door. And those blue spruces, when I bought them, were hip high. They're not as tall as me, so they're like 5 or 6 inches away from 6 feet. So they're growing fast, but they're not growing fast enough to, again, provide shade. And there's absolutely no trees in my backyard except for the one that's in the far corner. And again, my mother-in-law planted that maybe 10 years ago, maybe 11 years ago. I'm really horrible at math. So she bought it at a decent size, but it's still growing. So quite frankly, I've got no shade for my house. So between no shade and needing new windows and needing a new roof and needing a new AC because my AC can't keep up with it, it's really, really getting hot at my house. My thermostat is set for 70, and I know a lot of people are like, oh my god, 70? I have multiple health conditions, which means I can't be in excessive heat or in excessive cold. 70 to 72, 73 is like my sweet spot. If I'm anything more than that, I tend to get really, really sick. And if I'm anything less than that, I again tend to get really, really sick. So I'm really a nice, complicated. Hi, go play. My goofy goobers. Richard. So that is why I've got all this like weird stuff going on in my house. All the lights are off, all the fans are on, there's background noise, there's obviously crazy kids that are. He has some stuff going on, so he likes to be fully dressed, so it's like it makes it even more complicated. I'm grateful he's not wearing his gloves though, because that's the thing. You stop being a goober. And he's walking around naked half the time because he's just like, I'm too hot, mom. So I'm like, I had to hurry up and like just put something on him to keep him from flashing everybody, because that would have been awful. So I wanted to kind of come on and talk a little bit about my stance on all the crazy, crazy, crazy stuff going on. And I am one person, so my personal opinion means very, very little in the grand scheme of things. But my suggestion would be to, if you want to change things and make a difference with everything going on with like Roe versus Wade and overturning the separation of church and state thing that went on and everything, you have a voice here. So there's a lot of things you can do. One of the first things you can do is, and this is something my husband and I have been talking about, is trying to teach our children what is and is not okay, and respecting people's rights and choices. And I'm not going to say one way or another whether or not what I support or what I believe in, because quite frankly, it doesn't really matter. At the end of the day, I I have things that I can do to make my peace. And so I was telling my husband, and I'm like, right now I gotta get working at healing my body because I tore my ligament. I tore all three ligaments in my ankle. So that's gotta heal. But I told my husband, and I'm like, with everything going on, it just cements my desire to become a foster parent. And um, I want to, as soon as we're able to finish doing the remodeling to our house, because we have to fix our kitchen because it's falling apart. I mean, not like literally falling apart, but like certain things are breaking, and it's a 23-year-old kitchen. Like the cabinets are 23-year-old. Come on, like they're gonna break. Um, I'm like, we gotta go through and we gotta fix our kitchen. We gotta redo our kitchen, redo our bathrooms, so and replace our furnace and AC and do our roof. And I want to do the add-on to the room. I want to add on to our house. Like you can't physically see it, and I don't even know if I can maneuver it. I'm gonna try, so bear with me, y'all. I don't even know that I got enough cord. So you can see in this corner, sorry for the light glare, I've got a window, and then I've got another window on this side. And those are both sides of my desk where I sit and do all of my stuff. And so, and now it's gonna sit at an angle because of course I can't ever like make things perfectly the way I had them. Why would I? Um, so I want to do the add-on to the room because this is a 3-bedroom townhome. My husband and I own it. So I want to go through and add a bedroom in here. I'm thinking about making it more like a 3 seasons room and putting in like not a furnace, but like an electric heater and an AC unit so that it is a fully functional thing. Benefits of doing a 3 seasons room over an actual additional bedroom is it changes some of the requirements for it. Plus, I want to do it because my oldest has a lot of sensory processing issues, and so this is an ideal spot to make a completely like sensory safe bedroom for him. I think he's going to be the most and the most complicated. He's right words without sounding like I feel poorly of my child because I don't. I think he's a great kid. He has a lot of needs that don't get met regularly. He's kind of like me where he's like super sensitive to temperature. He's got a lot of weird health issues and stuff like that. And so does my middle child. And so one of the two of them will end up being in that bedroom where I can kind of fine tune it and make it exactly what they need instead of what typically comes in a home. So that way they can have their needs matched. My oldest actually prefers to stay with Damien, my youngest. So they prefer to room together. And if they want to continue to do that, I'm fine with that. But Richard and Damien, my middle and my youngest, actually jibe the best together. So I don't really know how that's going to play out. But then I have one extra bedroom. And I told my husband, I'm like, I want to open it up to little girls. I want 2 foster daughters, or I don't even know how that technically is phrased. I want to research and do the best I can to become an advocate for them, to give them some control and say over their life. I think that is something that we can do to really make a difference. And then as far as, the schools and stuff like that, we are fortunate that we are in a school district that allows for a lot of parent involvement, and I told my husband we should start getting really involved with that. And one of the best things we can do is just be involved and have our voice be heard. And while we may not be able as 2 individual people to make a significant amount of change, we can do our part to help other people be more comfortable opening and making change. Our vote, I do vote. I do vote. I don't necessarily believe that my vote has much say in the matter because all it takes is the Electoral College saying, your vote doesn't matter, I'm going to do what I want. And so I think one of the biggest things we need to work on as a country is removing the Electoral College because it's no longer necessary. Um, I think if we remove the Electoral College and have the people's vote actually matter, that would have changed the course of what's happened over the past several decades for votership and leadership. And so I would like to see that be a thing that the people come together on. If we can remove that and put in extensive term limits on our existing politicians, so every position should have a limit. And they need I think all politicians should also be on the same insurance that the people are on. They should not have extra privileges. They should not have income after they're done with their position. If we do that, we're bringing them down to our level. It's no longer a drive to turn it into a career. Instead, it's about people wanting to come in and do the right thing. I think if we do that and then eliminate the two-party system, all of that will lead to the people's choices being heard more. And I think if we also took money out of campaigning, where, there's plenty of ways and methods to do grassroots campaigns. And you can even, you can have people donate supplies and materials, but money should not be something that's donated. At least from businesses. If they want to get it from, Joe and Schmo who supports their ideology, that's okay. But from businesses who can literally tip the scales unfairly, I think that needs to be removed. But those are all things that I want to see happen. Fun little side note, I worked on the Chamber of Commerce in Chicago. I worked with a couple of aldermen. I know a little bit about how this stuff works, and I'm not going to say I know everything because I sure as heck don't. I also studied some criminal law and stuff like that in school, and went over and studied a lot of this stuff. This was something I was very much interested in when I was younger, before I had children. And so now that I have children, I've kind of gotten a lot more jaded about politics. And so this is going to be my stance is I'm going to do what I can. And I don't feel like I necessarily can do all that much, but if every single person does what they can, whether it's showing up to their school district's meetings, whether it's fostering children who need it, whether it's hosting families who are going through and need and have whatever. There are options you have as a people, and that's what I think is important. Have a good one. Enjoy your cup of coffee.